questions to send them over. So I guess we'll just get started.
Let's go.
All right. So the first big thing that there was a lot of back and forth, not necessarily in the comments so much, but just a consistent topic that sometimes comes up not only in the comment section, but with our friends and family. And it's a clarifying point that this particular lifestyle that we're currently living, this full-time lifestyle, it's not a vacation. And I think that this is one thing that Jeanne and I are still sometimes having trouble wrapping our heads around, because we hit a new location, we land in a new city, and we feel like we have to go and we have to see all of the sites that there are to see. We don't want to miss out on anything. But this becomes exhausting if it's what you're trying to accomplish in every place that you're going. So I think for us, the goal is to slow down even more than we currently are. And settle into a rhythm of life rather than constant travel.
Sorry to cut you off. And I also think that we keep saying that we are slowing things down, and I still think that we are not. It's definitely it is definitely an improvement for the first year, because during the first year we were like crazy. We were excited. We wanted to see so many things at the same time. And by the time, at the end of year number 1, more or less, we thought, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. Let's just reset and restart again. So that's basically around April, more or less, of 2025. Here comes 2026. We said, let's make things slower, even though saying slower, we are not at that pace yet. But it's, again, as we said, we always say learning opportunity, which is actually the case. It's improving as we go.
But Jeanne, some of the videos have these map graphics where we kind of show you guys all of the flights and buses and trains and movement that we've done in a given time period. And Jeanne has recently completed actually the one that we're going to have for the year in 2026. So this current year. So from January 2026 to the end of the year. And we are going to have moved by the end of the year, if nothing changes, over 75,000 kilometers. And I don't even think I remember how many flights. And so we say we're slowing down, but we're still, there's a lot of movement. And every time you have a travel day, every time you have to pack up and get on a different mode of transportation, you have to figure out how to get there. You have to try to find your train platform or your gate. You go through security. You have to get there early. You have to get onto the mode of transportation. You have to get to your new place. You have to find wherever it is it can be mentally draining. And I think when we looked back at the map, we turned to each other and we said, okay, we need to even more next year. We need to slow it down and relax a little bit more.
Yes. For our American friends, 8,000 kilometers, around 46,000 miles, more or less. Right? So, it's still a lot. And even though when we are in a specific location, we go from one place to another. I mean, the 75,000 that we've mentioned is just travel-wise. If you do consider the days that you're going to go and experience and travel and find like a place that you wanted to go and visit, it might be at least 30 or 40% more. Right?
So we are looking to slow down even more. And I think that we're starting to take that to heart. Just even being here we're in the middle of the countryside in Canada right now. So it's been nice just to relax for 3 weeks and not have to think too much about anything. So I think we're really going to start, once the next few months of planned travel is over, maybe more so into 2027, we are definitely going to be targeting at least a month, if not 2 months, in a location, whether that's one city or a country, but at least 1 month in each city that we're going to. We'll see how it goes.
I'm glad that you're recording this and it's going to be available for those who are not live with us. What we wanted to do is actually leave even the chapters later on so you can jump to a specific section that we want to be covered. So keep sending the message, keep sending your comments. We do appreciate them. We will definitely go through them. But as Kristine said, we already, when we calculated the 8,000 kilometers, because we already have everything planned until the end of this year, like the main hubs or the main places that we wanted to visit, right? For 2027, to give you guys an idea, we kind of have roughly what we wanted to cover. But again, it's not the topic that we wanted to discuss, but we wanted to be more spontaneous about all of those places that we wanted to do.
Oh,
right?
Hello from Darian from magnificent Germany. Excellent.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, so basically answer the question. We are learning as we go.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception a lot of people, especially friends and family, to be frank, have about our life. They think it's one big vacation. It's not.
It's not.
We still have all the same problems. I shouldn't say all the same problems, but we still run into issues as we're traveling. We still have the very mundane lifely chores that everybody has. We have to clean the apartments we're in. We have to do our laundry and cook our meals and stuff like that. So it's fantastic, and don't get us wrong, we would never trade anything for going back.
It's not complaining, it's just a reality that for those of you who are planning to do the same, you might have to encounter, right?
Exactly.
So,
another thing that we really was a very interesting conversation point in that video was all about home bases and the fact that we sold our home in Toronto.
Yes.
We've sold everything in Toronto, and all we have currently is a backpack. Now, we do have a condo in João Pessoa, Brazil, but it is, I would say, an investment property. The odd time we go to Brazil, which we will be there in a few months, we will stay at that condo. But we're still very up in the air as to whether we keep that condo.
Keep the condo.
That's
right? We're back and forth with this idea.
Yeah, it might be a different discussion in a few months when we do a live, whether the condo is still in play or not. But so we don't really have a home base where we leave a lot of stuff and then we come back, we'll recharge in that home base, and then we move to a new location and visit something new. Everywhere we go is constantly a new spot at this point. We haven't really gone back anywhere other than to family here in Canada or in Brazil. But a lot of people really want and plan to keep a home base. Right?
For valid reasons, right? So,
and we found it fascinating that it's such a all or nothing type of debate, right?
What?
Some people are all for home base and just traveling 3 months at a time. Other people are like, no, get rid of it all. Hit the road with nothing.
Yes.
So interested to hear anybody's thoughts or if you have a strategy. But
yes, I'm really interested. What do you guys feel like? What about this home base? Are you home base or no home base at all?
Pro base or no base?
Pro base or no base? Yeah. Write in the comments below. In the meantime, there are a few questions that I just wanna answer right away. So Susie is asking, let me just take a look. Running into inflation issues throughout the world?
Yes.
I would say yes. The biggest surprise that I can remember of it was actually in Argentina. When we were back in when we visit Argentina, we visit Buenos Aires at the beginning of 2025. From the previous videos that we had on YouTube, people were saying, you know what, the prices in Argentina are really nice, everything is good. When we got there, it was a different reality. The same when we were in Istanbul last year. So to answer your question, yes, we do. Having said that, North America, the Canadian dollar, the US dollar, they are still
fairly strong.
But you will definitely find that as well.
Yeah,
right?
To be just kind of interesting, you said that. One of our friends, Ashley, just sent this to me today. It was published 4 days ago from the Visual Capitalist. It's, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it ranks the inflation in the G20 economies. And funny enough, Argentina tops the list for projected inflation in 2026 of 30.4%. Then it was Turkey, Russia, India, Brazil, Australia, but those are dramatically lower than the first two. So inflation does play a role, but I think it's now being baked into our projections for the following year. We've never been one to not realize that we're going to have to keep increasing our budget year over year, even if it's strictly inflation based. So we do find things are a bit more expensive, but we're adjusting for it.
Well, thank you very much. We might have to go to Scotland next year because you're gonna get out of the Schengen zone, and we want to be in Europe around it. So
I want to get to Scotland. It's been on my bucket list of places. So Scotland and Ireland and Wales sort of are on my bucket list places to get to. So we might be meeting up next year in the summer. So keep you posted.
That's awesome. So 2 more questions that we already got. You keep the Canadian? Yes, we do. We are still Canadian residents. We still pay our taxes. By the way, we paid our taxes just a few months ago.
Yeah, when we filed.
So when we filed, yes, Canadian residency for sure.
Interesting that we just actually had a meeting with our accountant a few weeks ago, and we were just asking for general knowledge sake what the process would be for us to declare non-residency if we found another country that we were interested in pursuing residency in. And he ran through the pros and cons with us, and
it's incredible how we kind of changed our perspective on.
Yeah, I mean, we would get hit with a huge tax bill if we were to ever declare
here in Canada, like what we have to deal with.
Yeah, if we were to declare non-residency. But when he started to talk about the way we have our withdrawal strategy structured and our income, as many of you know, a lot of our taxable income is Canadian based. So all of our dividends and distributions are coming from Canadian companies. So it's very tax advantageous for us. And it really is tax advantageous when it comes tax time. So I don't know if we are. Maybe we'll just do more of a quarterly travel rotation like our 2 of our friends, Kim and Frank, do. They kind of break their year down into quarters, so they move every 3 months to a different area of the world. Maybe we would do that for the foreseeable future rather than declare non-residency for taxes and pursue another residency.
Yeah, so
somewhere.
away we go, traveling this team no home base, and then we have Nitson. Home base makes you feel more like home. So there are always kind of pros and cons in deciding on what to do. At this time, this is what we are planning to do, is no home base at all and travel for a while, right?
Interesting. So there are things that we talked about in another video about things that we do really miss. And one of those things is pictures on the wall. And we do miss a lot of things about having a main home base, but we got some really great suggestions on how to make home wherever you are. And we do have a few tips and tricks for others that are planning on full-time travel in when you first get to a new Airbnb or an apartment or a long-term rental, some of the things that you can do just to make it feel a little bit more like your space and not just someplace that you're temporarily in for a few weeks or a month. So if anybody's interested in those tips and tricks or a video like that, let us know, because we do have some really good suggestions to help out with that feeling of home.
Nick has thing our goal is Caribbean Shore 3 months in the winter and then the rest of the year back in Ontario. So I'm sure that's 2 or 3 months is gonna be winter in Canada.
Yeah, right? You might be extending that after a few years, maybe 4 or 5 months in the Caribbean.
Yes, so the Magnificent German will be
retire. My wife is not. Goals to slow travel in Germany. Okay, so if anybody has been watching or listening or following on our community page, we just spent 3 weeks in Germany, and I think Cheyenne and I can both say how absolutely enamored we are with Germany after those 3 weeks. I knew I would like Germany, but I did not realize how charming and beautiful and fantastic the country was.
We were actually surprised.
Really
right?
love Germany,
So,
and we will definitely be heading back for longer for sure.
Yes, yes. Speaking of home base versus no home base, I also have a question. There is an interesting one from Kim and Frank. So let me just put the question here, and then you guys can read.
Yeah, so Kim and Frank are the ones that have their quarterly travel rotation. They also have a really good YouTube channel FNK Life. So if you get a chance, head over there as well, because they talk a lot about slow travel as well. So we recently got asked if we were starting to assess favorite places of potential long-term locations, or if we're happy with a rotation of different places. For us, we haven't been doing this long enough. We do have one or two favorite places that we will eventually go back to. I don't know. You tell me your thoughts, but my thoughts are right now we're too early into the full-time travel. There are too many places I want to see, and too many foods I want to try, and languages I want to hear in real life, and things like that. I don't think we'll be going back anytime soon to a lot of locations other than the Brazil family and Canadian family.
Let's put those aside. I'm gonna put you like in a difficult spot. From 2025, you have to pick one city. 2026, that we just finished, another one, or country.
I can't do that.
You can't?
And I think that this might speak to the question, because we had such a great time in all of our locations.
Yes. But
I mean, there's certain places, and I don't know whether it's, I don't know. There's certain places we definitely really loved. But other places we enjoyed, but we weren't there long enough to be able to form a proper opinion.
Yeah, and or sometimes you are even like at the wrong location within the city. To give you a perfect example, it's I don't know if you agree, but in Chiang Mai, when we were Chiang Mai, Thailand, last year, we were not at the right neighborhood that we ended up finding out later. So by the time that we kind of got our understanding on the city, on the places that we can go, so we are on the wrong
on the wrong location, and it was nearing the end of our time there, so we didn't really, I don't think, get a good grasp of a city.
Yes.
Personally, I feel like we have so much time ahead of us. The beauty of this life is that we have so much time, and the options are endless, that I still wouldn't say that we have a lot of. There's places that we will go back to.
She's skipping the question. You have to have an answer. Pick one location instead of two. One. Easy.
That's even harder.
Oh my God.
Yours, go.
I am gonna say Mendoza, Argentina. Besides the inflation and everything, Mendoza was a place that we liked. Another one that was from the first year. From the second year, I would say Plovdiv in Bulgaria.
Yeah, Plovdiv in Bulgaria was really nice, but I was charmed and I fell in love with Bamberg, Germany. So I could see myself spending some time there. So we'll see. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Very good. So we are just mindful of your time, so we just don't want to miss anything, and all the questions that you guys have will be answered. So that was
the home base.
Home base, right? Any other questions about home base? What is your preference or not? So feel free to choose the chat below, and then we're more than happy to answer them.
I mean, there's trade-offs to home base, right? Like you have the the security of having your own spot to go back to. You know the bed is comfortable. You know where everything is. You have all the gadgets that you need to cook your favorite meals, things like that. Your friends and family are around you, which is fantastic. But with no home base, you have the freedom to be able to choose and go and see exactly what you want to do when you want to see it. And after being home for 3 weeks with my dad, I think it's probably cemented our decision is being the correct one to sell our house in Toronto. Because we've been here 3 weeks and already there was an issue with the hot water heater, the pump, and, it just like he has a tenant in the basement. So then there was issues with one of the appliances down there. It was just those headaches. We're really happy that we don't have to worry about those when we're in Turkey or Germany or wherever we happen to be.
Basically, give a phone call
Mm,
and make a phone call and then say, here's what's going on and have to deal with.
yeah.
At the same time, those problems also happen even when you have to make a phone call. The away we go traveling, the guys, they also have a YouTube channel. I do remember their experience with Airbnbs and what they
Yeah.
have to go through. Take a look, Gary and Kara. Feel free to, of course, use the comments below and share like your channel, because if you try to find maybe a perfect place, I don't think that we are ever gonna be able to find one.
No, because yeah, there's never going to be a perfect
No.
place. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be something. Even when we had
Mm-hmm.
our house in Toronto, there was always something even there that we wanted to update or change or
Yeah.
make better. So pros
Yeah.
and cons.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go to the next topic. $50,000 per year clarification. In one of the videos that we released maybe 2 weeks ago, we talked about our budget. Our budget is 50,000 US dollars per year. So this is uh, it's a budget, but honestly, it's just like some sort of framework that we wanted to use. We have, thank God, worked hard, and we will be able to spend more if we want to, or less if we want to. But when we did release the video, we were not specific about which currency it
Yeah.
is. So since we are in Canada, some of you of the other folks during the video, they thought that it will be in Canadian dollars, but no, this is actually in US dollars.
And we do it in US dollars just for simplicity's sake, to be honest, because a lot of our hotel stays are in US dollars, or the flights we book are in US dollars. And it's just easy for other people to, they already sort of know what their currency is pegged against the US dollar. So it just sort of simplifies things a little bit for us rather than converting everything back and forth all the time. So
yes, so $50,000 per year. We are actually just released today to the members our budget for May 2026. We are over budget. So
again, it's been 6 months in a row that we're over
no,
budget.
it's 5 months.
Oh yeah,
We are just
surprise!
on
June's
month
not looking
number
good, guys.
5. June is not looking good, but yeah, you're supposed to spend around, let's say, $25,000 by the end of June. We already crossed that number a few months ago. But if you ask, are you guys concerned? Then I'm going to say not at all, because we can see what we are actually bringing as our income from the dividends and distributions that we do receive. We don't rely on YouTube. If this is something that you guys might be asking, YouTube is not a source. I mean, we receive some money from YouTube, but it's not like our main source of income. If you are relying on YouTube, you will be still working. So, right?
We do. If anybody's interested in the nitty gritties, we do have a lot of those more. We've decided to move that all off of the main YouTube channel, just a little bit more privacy, but it is over there. If anybody is interested, you can go over and see more of the actual numbers.
Yes, you can see, we actually put the QR code on the screen. If you can just point your cell phone camera to the QR code, you'll be able to be redirected to the page. But definitely there will be a case.
And if anybody's interested in a more in-depth deep dive of any of our categories or how we came up with the base budget each year, because it is a budget that changes year to year. I think next year there's going to be we added a little bit this year for education, but I think next year education and health and fitness are going to play a bigger role in our budget. Simply because Jean's going to start taking Italian courses. I really want to start taking Portuguese courses. I recently did my TICO certification in Ontario, so I can legally sell travel services in Ontario, basically to ourselves. But that's going to fall under education. Just some different things that we're starting to do to sort of keep ourselves occupied and busy.
Use our time, right? Just to give you an idea about the budget again, when we were still working, thinking about like when are we going to be able to retire early. Our initial budget when we were back in 2021 or 2020, it was actually 40,000. I'm gonna say 35,000 US dollars per year. By the time that we were getting close to 2024, we realized, this budget is not enough. So let's bump it up. Instead of 35,000 US per year, I'm gonna say maybe 42 or 43,000 US per year. Here we are on year number 2 of our travel. So we are right now with $50,000 per year. So it keeps changing. I think part of it is the inflation, that one of the questions that was asked before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just the flexibility that we have. Once we are traveling now, and once we know what we are actually able to do, we just go and kind of splurge on some of those experiences, right?
I also think that it's as we become more comfortable as early retirees, as we become more comfortable traveling, we realize what our budget, our numbers, our investments can truly support, and we're becoming a little bit more comfortable upping the budget, as well as realizing that certain categories deserve a higher spend, such as accommodation. Certain things we're going to spend more money on because they make our lives comfortable and they make us happier.
Yeah. That was one of the big lessons learned, was actually accommodation. It kind of brought, it was usually me. Kristine is the one that she takes care of accommodation, on where we should stay, if it is going to be a hotel or an Airbnb. And I always said, that's too much, that is too expensive. By the time that I got to the location, that you got to the location, I was the first one complaining. And I said, we don't have all the things that we wanted to do. But I never thought that the prices that you actually have to pay for those locations, they were very expensive. And she says, well, maybe that's my lesson learned, which is, well, if this is what we wanted to live with, here's where we can go and here's where we can stay.
Just up the budget.
Yeah.
And I honestly think I think this was a comment too about budget and upping our accommodation budget. When we're happier in one of our accommodations, we are actually more likely to stay there, to eat more of our meals and stuff like that as well, as opposed to if we're in an uncomfortable Airbnb or we spend too much time in hotels, we're out eating in restaurants and spending money more than we would if we had a nice kitchen to cook in, or a balcony to sit out on, or a patio or something like that. So even though the accommodation would be more, I almost think it gets offset by not spending as much going out to eat, so that we're avoiding the accommodation, if you will, to a certain extent.
So let's talk about this. Based on being over consistently, that you should permanently raise it.
So I think there's a number of reasons as to why we're over budget at this point this year. The first half of the year, and I'm going to say the first half because we've only been back in my dad's house for 3 weeks. Prior to arriving back in Canada, we have been in a hotel the entire time.
Yes.
We have not stayed at an Airbnb. We haven't cooked our own meals, nothing. And that was a conscious choice that we made. Good or bad, it comes with its trade-offs again, but we were, and we might get into this in a little bit, but we were focused on attaining Marriott Titanium status, Hyatt Globalist, IHG, the 40 nights for the lounge access, and we kind of piled a lot of that at the front of our year. And staying in hotels can be affordable, but it still tends to be more expensive up front sometimes than staying in a less expensive accommodation.
I think that another factor was actually, this is the year that we are trying to focus more in our health. So at the beginning of 2026, when we were in Thailand, we decided to go to a health retreat in Koh Samui. And being at the health retreat, we spent quite a lot of money. Again, this is the money really, really well spent.
Yes.
And I felt that we needed to do this on the retreat, where everything was included, all the massages, all the PTs, all the exercise and gym and all of those things. there was the first thing. The other one is by the time that we left the retreat, we end up going to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur, where keep going with the health year. We kind of decided to go to Prince. Is this Prince Court?
Court, yeah.
We went to Prince Court in Kuala Lumpur for like a bunch of like checkups to see how are we. What are some of the things that we wanted to do to basically set the baseline, which we do have it now. So based on that, there was a lot of money upfront that we spent, and I don't think that there was the wrong decision. I remember one day when we were at Prince Court, we've just finished an exam, like an eye exam that it's part of the package that we end up having. And the optometrist said to Kristine, you have something in your eyes that you have to basically take care of it now.
Yeah, it turned out just through the health screening, and some of you already know this, turns out I had 3 holes in my retina that if they hadn't been addressed, I could have led to a detached retina, which is ultimately an emergent situation. So we took care of that. But had we not gone for the proactive health like screenings, I wouldn't have necessarily, it's potential it could have been caught by just a regular optometrist visit, but this was a bit more of an in-depth one. I don't know if we're going
to Gary's question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get to it, but that procedure, as a result, we actually did claim that back through our health insurance, and we have been reimbursed for the laser surgery after the fact. But we can get into that if you have questions later.
Yeah, you should raise it. I think that especially on those years, I think that we can. Well, you guys are
I'm still actually thinking that we're not going to be too far over the 50,000. Let's put a pin in it. It's not that we can't raise it. We can certainly raise it if we want. We have definitely structured our finances in such a way to be able to do that as we need to. But we talked about actually just today on our walk that I feel like it's still a really comfortable framework to live in for us in the places that we're going. Could we spend more money? 100%. But we still live a really good life, and we're doing everything we want to do. It's more of a ballpark figure for us that we want to stick to rather than a hard and fast number.
I would agree with you. However, we need to keep something in mind with this, all of this year of travel that we've had, the 8,000 kilometers, like 49,000 miles. We are able to fly, and we are able to do this because we do use points and miles as one of our income streams. So we are going to talk about credit cards in a few minutes, but by doing this, it would allow us to live around close to $50,000 more or less. If you were to include the prices of the flights that we have taken into consideration, I am pretty sure that the budget would be around $60,000 or $70,000. Because most of the flights, especially like the longer ones, we try to do in business class.
To be fair, if we were paying cash,
we will not be flying in business class, and as a result, the budget will be even higher. So yes, it's $50,000, but we have been leveraging the points and miles to reduce the amount of spend on our money, right? So that's something that you need to keep in mind.
And to be fair, I think if we didn't have the points and miles to assist with the travel costs, we would be traveling much slower.
True.
Because we do take quite a few flights, and that burns up your points as well. So
yeah.
All topics if you want to learn more about them. We love talking about it.
Yeah, so let's go, Dr. Ninja. Hey, it's nice to see you here with us. So thank you very much. Let's go through this. Do you budget for long-term care for later years and consider when to retire? Good question.
So we often talk about this, and I think it was several months ago now. I think we sort of touched on it in one video when we talked about our net worth and how we have not touched the principle of our investments to this point. We strictly are living off of dividends and distributions from our portfolio.
Yeah.
And sometimes we talk to each other where we say to each other, like, when do we start drawing the principal? Because it does keep it, like, the assets keep growing in value. So we're not actually touching the underlying asset. We just live off of the income that it's generating, for lack of a better term. But we have this conversation about when we should start drawing it down, but we turn exactly to this point here. And at some point, we don't know when that's going to be. At some point in our future, there's going to become a need for either a more permanent location where we're going to have to rent something long term, buy something, or look at long-term care for one of us or the other, right? Or both, right? And I think that at this point, those underlying investments are just going to stay invested for as long as possible, because that is what we're thinking to use down the road, 20, 30, hopefully 50 years from now.
Down the road, yes.
When we need that care, but the money will be there. So we are thinking about it. We do consider it, and we are planning for it. The way we're planning for it is by not touching our underlying investments. They continue to grow in value, and all we're doing is living off of the dividends.
The dividend distributions. And just to give you an idea, we have money set aside for growth, for ETFs, usually for growth, and we have money aside for dividend distributions and also for income-oriented funds. So we have a little bit of everything, and you go through those numbers with our members.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. I love those questions.
I
mean, I'm so happy to answer with you guys.
I almost wish we could all be in the same room and just sit down and have a huge conversation. That would be good.
I don't know what you guys are having or not. It's here is tea or coffee. I'm having my
Canadian rye.
So cheers. So let's keep going. My wife and I are in a similar situation. Close to retire. You guys have been doing any regrets? No.
My only regret is I wish I had known what I know now. Like you say, every time when you look back on your life, I would have left sooner.
Yeah, so that's actually is no next question. Knowing what you know now, why you have retired early? Yes. Yeah.
100%. I have never been happier.
Talk about a little bit of what you used to do before.
Well,
really quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people know. I was a police officer in the city of Toronto, and that comes with a myriad of stressors and different, problems, as we will call them. And it really began to take a toll on me, on my mental health, but also my physical health. I put on weight. I was like, my back, I couldn't sleep through the night. I had a lot of stress and muscle problems and stuff like that. It took about a full year and a half, but I feel like I'm younger. I feel happier. I sleep through the night now. I just feel lighter. And not to say that I regret the time I spent in my job. I know a lot of people have a very stressful job, but I feel like stress has so many more effects on us than we realize. And the second that we can step away from those external stressors, like the really big ones, right? The job stress, I think more than anything, really eats at you. And it takes a toll that we don't realize until it's not there anymore. And you're trying to build back what was lost. So if I knew what I knew now, I would have left earlier and lived in somewhere for years until I had enough to be able to do what we're doing. But we would have.
Just something else that I think it's important. Kristine, she committed her pension. As a result, we had an option to, if she had to stay working until 2028, that's when Kristine will be turning 50 years. And as a result, she could quit and receive the pension from the pension plan here. When she decided to commute the pension, we were the ones responsible for all the money that we have received.
Mhm.
A few weeks ago, I was looking at CPPs. CPP is the Canadian Pension Plan here in Canada, which is basically the plan that all of those guys, they do invest the money to to give you once you retire. The return of the CPP compared to the return that we are doing ourselves, we did better, like at
Yeah.
least 2 times than the CPP. I know that CPP is a bit different, it's a
Yeah.
different monster because they have to think about,
Different risk
a
factors
different
and stuff.
risk
Yeah.
factor, but we were able to perform at least 2 times more than CPP
Oh,
minimum,
100%. The
right?
money's been invested for just over 2 years now.
Yes,
2 years,
almost
and
two
we're up
years.
35%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of, and not to say you shouldn't plan for your exit, but I think that sometimes we wait a little bit too long because
Mm.
there's involved, right? Like to leave that secure paycheck and those
Yeah.
secure jobs where you know you're going to be getting money every 2 weeks, it is a stressful situation to do.
Mm-hmm.
But humans are fantastic at adapting, and I think that
It's just the fear of the unknown,
yeah,
right? But maybe one of the things that you should consider is running your numbers. Look for a financial planner or financial
yeah,
advisor that is at fee only. So you know, here's my numbers, here's what I'm planning for, what is gonna happen in 5, 10, 20, 30 years, based on the budget that you wanted to have more or less. So
mhm,
they can run those numbers. There are a few websites and spreadsheets available that you
yeah,
can do, but nothing better than speaking with somebody who can understand your situation. So it's gonna give you peace of mind. I
mhm.
guess that's what is the most important thing, right? uh
Carlos. Let's see. Question. I'm
five.
planning to fire soon. My idea is to spend 5 months in Brazil, 5 months in the US.
Mhm.
That's a great plan. We're not as familiar with US insurance situations for the healthcare
Uh-huh.
because here in Canada, we don't have to deal with a lot of that. However, that being said, because we're out of country for as long as we are, we do rely on Safety Wing for our
Mhm.
healthcare. Now, we just talked about getting a bunch of health testing and stuff done in Kuala Lumpur. None of that was covered as like the preventative health care was not covered. That was all out of pocket. The eye issue that I had as a result of those checkups, it was covered because it was a situation that was discovered and not specifically you weren't
Mhm.
going in there to check for kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Safety Wing in the US, I'm not sure how that all works or what your premiums would be. I just, we do have some US friends that maybe in the chat they could put some ideas of
Mhm.
ones that they're using. Maybe if they have any
Yeah.
suggestions for you, that would be good. But I know for our Canadian viewers or others watching, Safety Wing has
Safety.
been, and even some
Yeah.
US, as long as you're not going back to the US. So the
Yeah.
5 months and 6 months back in the US will
I guess that's when it kind of
factor in.
kicks in. It is gonna make it more expensive. I
Yeah.
actually put the link for Safety Wing
Yeah.
on our chat for those
Yeah.
of you who are interested. So first class on long flights at some point in the future.
First class is, there are a few first class wish lists. And I think for us, that part of the travel experience is just that it's part of our experience. It's something
Mhm.
that we're really we enjoy the travel, the flying part as well, even though it's tiring. So we,
It starts by the time that you leave home,
yeah.
right? So that's where the
So
experience
for us,
starts.
like we love airports, we love planes and all of that. So
Hmm.
first class long haul flights are definitely on our aspiration list.
Uh-huh.
But for us, finding those point redemptions are quite tricky.
Hmm.
Down the road, if it's a splurge year or,
Hmm.
who knows, maybe we'll pay cash for some of them, but they are pricey. I mean, we would love to do like Singapore Suites or
Hmm.
Emirates First Class or something like that, but
One
it's
day.
a little too far out of the cash budget. So if we can find some point redemptions, it might be in the cards.
Yeah, great question. So let's keep going. So we are around 50 minutes. We have all the time for you guys. We are planning to stay at least 1 hour and a half or 2 hours to answer your questions. So if you do have them, please use the comments below. We are more than happy to answer them with you.
Yeah. Another reality we have about full-time travel is you are giving up, um, trading.
I guess it's trading rather than giving up. So we are trading this for something
Yeah, you're
else.
making some trade-offs. Maybe that's a better way of putting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at our list so we don't miss any. So there is a little bit of a hidden cost to this lifestyle that you're not always as conscious of when you're
Mm-hmm.
entering in, because we're all excited to get going, and we still are, and we wouldn't necessarily change anything about
Yeah.
our current lives, but we feel it's important to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
So things like structure, routine, identity, community, your social circle, being aware that things like decision fatigue are a very
Yeah, it's a
real
really big one.
reality.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we think in our old past lives or in our working lives, we had to make a lot of decisions, and you do.
Mm-hmm.
But when everything you do in a day requires a decision, uh, or research to figure out what
Mm-hmm.
you can
Mm-hmm.
and can't do or where to find something, it can become quite overwhelming. So
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's just those are important things to realize. We're trying to build more structure back into our lives because we've come to realize that having completely no structure doesn't work for our situation. Some people love it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people thrive on not having structure.
Mm-hmm.
We need a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to build that in with more like workout centered or cooking at home and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
what else?
I think like the biggest one, I'm gonna say the decision fatigue is one, and another one is being together 24/7. We've talked about that before, and it's only us when we travel. Yes, we go out and we end up meeting up
Mm-hmm.
people, but once we come back home, the majority of the time we spend together, and we know how important it is for basically for us to set some time aside for each other. We are slowly learning on how to do this, which is gonna be the case. I'm not gonna say with me, no,
Yeah.
for us, and I guess it's next
This
weekend.
coming weekend,
Yeah,
somebody's taken off.
yeah, I am gonna go and spend some time by myself just to focus on my mental health and basically do nothing and do I don't know, just stay away from Kristine, or maybe she's staying away from me,
No,
right?
you
And
know what?
see,
It's going to be fun. It's good.
yeah,
Jean's got this coming weekend by himself, and it
uh-huh,
turns out that my dad's partner, she's going to
hmm,
visit her family. So it's just going to be me and my dad for a
yeah,
weekend, which is
yeah,
going to be kind of nice. Maybe we'll watch some World Cup and
mm-hmm,
hang out a little
yeah,
bit, and
yeah,
it'll be nice. And then the following weekend, I have a girls' weekend, so
yeah,
Jean will be with my dad watching World Cup,
yes.
and I'll be with my girlfriends having a good
Yeah,
time.
but it's important for you if you are in a relationship with your partner to discuss that. And sometimes we keep those things to ourselves, trying to protect the other, which it might not be the best scenario. The best scenario is basically to go and talk and see, here's what we are facing, how can we make that
Mm-hmm.
work and learn from each other,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we are still adjusting.
Yeah.
There are so many things changing in our lives, changing with this new lifestyle, changing with age and coming age, all the things that comes from Kristine, that also comes to me. So we have to learn and make an
Adapt.
informed decision,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
You've got some
Okay, so
questions.
let's go through some of those questions. What do we do for mail? So we have our family, so
Yeah.
we use their address while we are here in Canada. uh, I still have my business open in Canada, and some of this business is also in the US. So I use a US mailbox for some of the communication, the letters, documents, and all of that stuff,
Like
and
a mail
then
forwarding
mail
service.
forwarding service. And once I receive this mail, I ask them to basically open and scan it, and I see if it is important or not. If it is important, they can ship that to anywhere in the world where I am. I use traveling mailbox, but here in Canada, family.
There's Yeah, but for Canadians in this situation, if you don't have family that you can use as an address, that they can deal with your mail for you, there's the same mail forwarding services here in Canada as well. We're not quite familiar with the names of them, but we can find out, or just do a quick Google search. They'll come up.
Yeah. Tax residents in Canada? Yes, yes.
We didn't do exit tax. We're still tax residents here. And the reason we are still tax residents in Canada is because we are, and this is kind of important to the full-time travel deal, we are never anywhere long enough to trigger tax residency in that particular country.
Yes.
And most of the passports that we're all going to hold, whether that's some passport from Europe or the US or Canada, most of our passports give you the 30 to 90 day visa free option in a lot of these places. And that's to protect, obviously, the country, but it also protects you to a certain extent, especially as Canadians, because it doesn't trigger that residency that will get you into tax implications here in Canada, right? So
that's true.
That's good.
Good question. So this one is also interesting. Traveling with backpacks. Yeah, would you at least have one checked bag in the future?
This is a conversation point. So to be fair, we are still with backpacks and we're still okay with that. That being said, I think we may check a bag this time going to Brazil.
But there's a special situation there for that, right?
Bag included in our flight. Not going to cost us anything out of pocket. We're going to take a few things down to our family that we have that we want to take down to them. But when we first arrive in Brazil on July 9th, we are going to be walking Lençóis Maranhenses, which is the sand dunes that have all these freshwater pockets after the rainy season in Brazil. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen photos of it on Instagram or anything like that. But it's going to be a hike over sand dunes. So we can't physically bring our backpacks with us, and we're going to have to leave them, like the majority of our belongings behind. So we're going to need a suitcase to put everything into, lock it up so that we can put that into storage while we take our backpacks and cross the sand dunes for 4 days. So this one time, but overall, we're not quite at the checked bag stage.
Basically, from what I mean, another thing that we have to consider is we checked our bags and the bag gets lost somewhere. Yes, you can have like an air tag or something similar that you can track where your bag is. But in our case, we get to the airport. We don't even do anything. We don't have to go through, like doing the check bag or anything. We just go to the gate and then we pass and we are good to go.
The biggest benefit is when we get off the
plane. Once we get off the plane, off we go, and people are still waiting for their bags and all of those things.
Or like pulling big bags or through the streets. All we have is our backpack, so it's easy to get on a train. It's easy to get on a bus. It's easy to climb stairs. We're not having to haul the bag. In the future, we very much could check a bag. Right now, we're content with our backpacks, and we find that freeing to a certain extent too.
Which is really interesting for the next topic that we're going to be discussing, which is health and aging on the road.
And the backpack keeps us
the backpack,
fit.
Right?
Because they are not light. So each of our backpacks, they do exceed carry-on weight limits. We've only ever been checked once, and that was in Malaysia. But we had a checked bag with our tickets, so we just ended up checking our backpack at that point. But our backpacks weigh probably 14 kilos. So you're looking at, what is that, 20, let's say 28 to 30 pounds on our back. And we're walking sometimes a few kilometers to a train station or from the bus station or something like that. So it's a good reason to keep our strength up and, make sure we're staying healthy.
And speaking of staying healthy, this is a really important topic that more and more that we do, we feel the impact. I am 53, and I can see the impact of age in my body and the things that I use to eat, the things that I use to drink, the things that I use to exercise or not exercise at all, right? when we decided to focus in our health in 2026, it was important for both of us taking care of our health and exercise more. Easier said than done. And here we are. I was telling Christine, we are, I mean, thanks to Anna and Brian, they are really feeding us quite well. But I told Christine, we can't handle that anymore because it's so good and I wanted to keep eating and I end up getting weight again.
Yeah. I'm going to show
Uh,
you. Don't go anywhere because I'm
yeah.
going to keep talking. I'm going to show them the reason why. And it's a
Yeah.
Canadian secret.
Yes. So, and we have decided to focus on our health more. So, reason why we went to Koh Samui at the beginning of the year, the reason why we decided to take the health screening in Kuala Lumpur is just because we know how important it is. Being around our family, they are on late 70s. We have to, we see the impact on their ages
Yeah.
as well. And this is something that we wanted to even help ourselves and avoid later on in our lives is, I guess it's being more prepared to what it's coming, right?
Yeah.
So health is definitely important. This is also important that you should have it. It's not sponsor. If they want to sponsor us, we're more than happy to do. But
I think there's certain things in your life that
Yeah.
you associate with home. And this is one purely Canadian thing. You cannot get these outside
as
of
far as
Canada.
I know, outside of Canada. Yeah.
Hawkins cheesies. They're the best cheesies in the world. And they're in fact made in the city just 10 minutes from here.
Yes.
But they're so delicious. And I don't know if it's because they're extremely salty, but they're so good. And we've eaten far too many of them over here because you cannot get them anywhere else. So they're a culprit. But if anybody's interested, check out the Hawkins cheesies.
Yes. Going back to your point, something else that we notice is when we go and we try to do based on the baseline that we had in Kuala Lumpur, we try to go and visit the doctors. Not everywhere there we go, but in a few places. When we go to Brazil, we want to go and do like, okay, it's been 6 or 7 months already. How are we doing? What are some of the things that we need to improve or not? And we go and speak with different doctors. Our family doctor here in Canada, of course, we spoke with the family doctor back in Kuala Lumpur. There's going to be another doctor in Brazil and so on and so forth, right? But having those things under control will definitely help you, and I urge you to don't wait until live this lifestyle. If you can focus more now, it's time. It was actually yesterday. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, to the point where having multiple doctors sort of take a look at your results, it's the same as having how we had 3 or 4 different financial planners run our numbers for us. It's always good to have a different set of eyes on your situation that may pick up on something that somebody else missed. We're all human. Things get missed, and it's, not everybody is in tune to everything that the others are. So always good to have multiple options.
Something else is about medications. I do take medication for my high blood pressure, and in some of those places we didn't have any problems. Actually, I had more, I'm not going to say problems here in Canada than when we were in Kuala Lumpur or when we were in Brazil, right? So here, in order to refill my prescription, I actually have to go and speak with my family doctor in order for her to approve, okay, we can go and take it. I was basically running out. When you are in different locations, when you are in Malaysia, no problems at all. When you are in Bulgaria, no problems at all. When you are in Mexico, no problems at all. All that I need to do is to show the prescription. But those things we end up learning as we go, right? So, and everybody speaks, I'm not going to say everybody, but most people, they'll just speak English, and having a Google translator will go a long way.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what else we have here. Oh, that's a lovely comment.
What?
Oh, thank you very much. That's really, that's really nice. We appreciate that.
How do I look? I don't even know, but it's funny how we go back 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. And I think that this is the point of this channel, right? We wanted to show people that we started here in point A, and we've made it to point oh, because we're not to the end yet. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this journey is ongoing, but we really want to share with you guys all the really great things that are happening and the ways that we're trying to achieve this particular life,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can pick and choose what you want to implement into your own lives, right?
Yeah.
And make sure you're all living
Uh-huh.
your best life as well. So thank you very much. It's
Mm-hmm. That's very
a
nice, right?
lovely, lovely
Thank you.
comment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah. Speaking
health.
of,
I think it's. Do
yeah.
you still want to talk about any of the other topics, or are we
No, I
good?
think we're good.
All right. Points, hotels, and backup plans. Let's talk about points and
I
miles and
feel like this
hotels.
might be our favorite topic,
Yeah.
is talking about travel and how to optimize your travel and the things that we're doing
Mm-hmm.
to uh, extend as much as possible our budget that we talked
Mm-hmm.
about before, but also still live a really great life. And I don't know. I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You go ahead. This is sort of your baby as well.
Well, we do treat points and miles as another
Source of income.
source of income. Thank you. Why? Because we know that we can save money traveling. We do travel full time. We take long flights, at least 2 or 3 long flights per year.
Mm-hmm.
At minimum, and those flights are 6, 7, 8, 10 hours. To give you an example, in when we were in Indonesia, we had the war in Iran going on, and we had to make changes to our plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as a result, we have to fly from where we were in Indonesia to Thailand. From Thailand, we have to go to Stockholm. From Stockholm, we have to go to Berlin, even though we had our family waiting for us in Berlin. All of this, I'm going to say around 20 hours more or less that we flew, 3 different and
Yeah.
long flights. And we were able to do this in business class. Why? Well, first of all, if you were to pay for those flights, the budget of $50,000 US dollars is not going to be enough,
Yeah.
period. So that's
Out
it,
the window.
right? But having the flexibility and having the points to support this kind of lifestyle, it's a game changer for
Mm-hmm.
us. And everything that we try to do is to use the points and miles when we have to spend money. We have to spend money in hotel. Well, what is the credit card that I can use to pay for the hotel that I'm gonna pay regardless? We have to go and spend this with in an Airbnb. It will be the same case. So basically, for every dollar that we have out of our wallet, we have to receive at least 2 points back. And that's the mentality that we keep learning as we go, and just finding ways to figure it out what is going to be the best scenario,
Yeah.
more worth it.
Yeah. So Jean mentioned that we really do treat points and miles
Mhm.
as another form of income, but it's also a safety net.
Uh-huh.
Because when you use points and miles, whether it's booking a hotel or a flight,
Uh-huh.
now you're going to have to choose the right option. But when you're booking a flight, if you choose the refundable option, all of your points come back into your account if you need to change your flight, which
Mhm.
is what Jean was talking about before, where we had to switch things around. And so by allowing yourself to have this exit from your travel
Uh-huh.
plans, if you will, you can actually have multiple options waiting for you.
Mhm.
And so you could, I don't know, instead of the Doha flight that we were going to take, we could have already had a backup flight from Singapore to Japan, Japan to Toronto if we wanted to. And then we can choose our dates that we want to fly or the route we want to fly. And if we are feeling something different, we change our plans, right? So points and miles are very flexible.
Mhm.
They allow you to have a lot of exit options from your
Mhm.
travel plans. So you're not really going to lose money if you need to
Mhm.
cancel for any reason. So
Yeah. Um, what I was gonna say, we have to find ways to make our money go further, and that's how the points and miles have been working for
Mhm.
us. In your screen, you have a QR code for the resources page. On the resources page, we have a few guides available for you. There is one of them which is the points and miles guide. This is actually real numbers. That
Yeah.
was actually what we were actually able to spend in 2024. So you can see the rationale why we are really big advocates, because we know that it does work, right? And you might say, I'm not into points and miles, I'm more into, I don't know, cashback. You can also do this. The return that we are going to have, it might not be the same one,
Yeah.
especially with flights. However, if you do prefer to have cash in your hands, you can also do it, right?
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. We have a few questions that our members sent. So let me just go through some of them.
And we are going to get back to your other questions. So just
Yeah,
give us
just
1 second
second.
here.
This is Verna.
So I would be interested in finding out what recent credit cards you're using for your points and miles strategy. So this is dependent on Canada versus the US.
Yeah.
So right now, American Express in the US has some fantastic offers out. So those would be really good options to look at, as well as the Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Yeah, the
has
Chase
a really
Sapphire
great
Reserve. Yeah. As the time that we are recording. So we are recording this on June the 7th, 2026. The Chase Sapphire Reserve, they have an offer for 150,000 points that you can basically, by spending, I think it's $4,000 if I'm not mistaken, you'll be able to get those points and miles.
Yeah. Canada also has some good ones.
Canada also has a really good ones, but it depends of what we are looking for. Are you planning to use those points to offset the cost of your trip, of your flight,
or
is it like your hotel, or is it like in your, I don't know, maybe a car rental that we wanted to do? It basically depends what you are looking for. What we try to do, we try to save those points and miles for hotels and for airlines, right? So it's a combination of both. We have credit cards in the United States, because years and years ago when we started that plan, and due to my business, I was able to open a few accounts. So that's why we are able to, even in Brazil. I'm originally from Brazil, and I also have credit cards in Brazil. So it's part of our portfolio, if I may say, of points and miles. But it basically depends what you're looking for. On our website, if you go to the resources for you, the QR code that you can see on your screen, there is a link for credit cards for both Canada and US that you guys can.
Yeah, and I guess if you wanted to talk about your points and miles strategy, I think it's take a look at your spending as individuals watching this. We always talk about tracking your spending so you know where your money is going, so you're aware. Take a look at your categories. How much are you spending in like your bills or your groceries or eating out, things like that? So take a look at your high spend categories and then decide what you want to do for your points and miles. Do you want to focus on earning points that you can redeem for flights or hotels? Then match those up to your credit card options with the multipliers. So you really always want to make sure that the card that you're putting your spend on is earning you, I would say at this point, based on the cards that are out there, at least 2 times per dollar spent in a point back, or 2% cash back, however you want to look at it, something to that effect. Because a lot of these cards will have multipliers on groceries, dining out, gas stations, travel, all of these. So there's really no reason why you should just be earning 1 point back for each dollar. However, at base minimum, that's still better than using your debit card at the end of the day, or paying cash.
Yeah, recently, last week, on our newsletter, we do release the newsletter weekly. I was actually talking about, because since we are back in Canada again, some of the credit cards that you were not using previously, we started to using them again. One of them, going back to, we are not sponsored by American Express at all. It's just trying to find ways for you to make your points or accumulate your points more and more. For every time that we go and see our friends we pay with credit card, because for every dollar in restaurant you get 5 times the points.
Mm-hmm.
For every time that you go and do your grocery, you also get 5 times the points. Why am I going to use a credit card that is only going to give me 1 time the point or no point at all, if I can use one that I can get 5 times? Right. Same way to the US. For the American Express Gold card in the US, you get 4 times the points for groceries and restaurants. So those things we learn as we go, but that will be something that why should not we take advantage of them, right? Great question. So let's go to another one. Let's see from Zach.
Has your points and miles strategy changed at all since living abroad full time? I'm thinking in terms of the foreign exchange fee into consideration when calculating value. So Zach's Canadian, so because we have US cards, I think he's talking about having to send money to the States in order to pay off the balance. So yes, there is a bit of a currency exchange. Most of our cards don't have a foreign transaction fee when we use them, so that doesn't really come into play. However, we still see far more value in the points and miles than the small difference we see in the currency conversion, sending money overseas to pay the card.
Yeah. Think of when you are investing the dollar cost average. That's what we keep doing. When we have to send money, when we try to do this every month, it is going to be on average. It's not going to be the highest, the lowest. It's just the average.
It's almost in our minds, it's almost like a cost of doing business, or I think it's just we receive far more value by still accumulating those points and having to transfer money than we would if we never collected those points again.
Yeah. So one extra question about credit cards. What hotel chain status for Canadians focus on? First, I think that it's hard, but when you think about credit cards in Canada, that's basically one credit card that it is gonna. You can start right away with 15 nights, which is the Marriott, American Express, Marriott Bonvoy. So that will be the credit card that you can start. In the US, we have more options. You have Hilton, you have Hyatt, you have Marriott, you have IHG. So you have so many options. But in Canada, to start and use.
If you're focusing on credit cards, right? If you want those, the perks that kind of come with the credit card to aid you into your status run for a hotel chain. That being said, it's not hard to get status if you're a full-time traveler or a business traveler to that extent too. IHG is a good one. It has a decent footprint around the world, and a lot of their perks that you get as you stay multiple nights are, I would say they have a pretty strong, I would say that sometimes they're stronger than some of the other programs simply because you can earn money to spend towards food and beverage in these hotels. And I think that that's a pretty big benefit when you don't have a lounge.
Kristine, she actually wrote an article in our blog. If you go to the resources for your QR code that you can see on your screen, go to the articles. When in one of the articles that we actually created was the example that Kristine wrote about IHG and the math behind, right?
So we're still weighing all the programs, so we can't tell you which one is our favorite yet. We do have some favorites, and there's pros and cons to all of them, but
Yes, working towards retirement. Give me an idea of how much money it's required to be invested to put the plug on work at age 48. I wish I would have the right answer for you, but I think that what it might help you is deciding what is the budget, how much are you planning to spend once you stop working at age 48. Are you going to be living in your existing location? Are you planning to travel? Are you planning to work part-time? There are so many factors that you have to consider, as well as what is going to be the lifestyle that you wanted to keep after you stop working, right?
Yeah. And once you have all of that, you have to then turn around and look at your investments. What do you feel comfortable investing in? What's your risk profile? All of these different factors are going to play into your underlying portfolio and capital. So I think we can't honestly we can't answer that
Yeah.
because one, we're not financial advisors, but two, without a ton of other
Yeah.
information, it's really hard to even guess, right?
Maybe where you can start, and I'm not sure if you are tracking your spending or not. We under the resources page we have a spreadsheet where you can basically start tracking your budget. How
Yeah.
much have you been spending every month? We are still at mid-year, and then you already are doing this or not, but at least you know where the money is going, and you can start perhaps come cutting some
Yeah.
of this stuff to help you out. But again, we are not financial advisors, but those are some of the things that we consider when
Yeah. When we
we
started.
decided to do this,
Yeah.
right? Another question: how do you manage to build up so many points? When I have invested in the past, I was thinking, yeah, it's hard, but every single thing that we have an opportunity to spend money on is gonna be on the credit card.
Yeah.
It was difficult for Kristine initially when I met her. She was not used to using credit card to pay for things, and it kind of became more of a,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta use it too, and
I think it takes a little bit of switching your mentality as well. So putting everything on a credit card is one, but two, being okay opening multiple credit cards, because where you're going to find the biggest bang for your buck, for lack of a better term, is with a sign up bonus. So for Jean and I, we're always trying to work on a sign up bonus. And when one sign up bonus ends, we look at, okay, well, what's our next option for another credit card? And so we'll open another credit card.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people worry about having so many credit cards open or having the hits on your credit report.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, because it's again completely not financial advice at all, and you have to always pay your credit cards off in full every month. But our credit rating has never been better, and the reason we can accumulate so much is, one, we focus on category spend, so those 4X categories that Jean was talking about, as well as making sure we're always looking for a new sign up bonus. So those big chunks of points that a bank is going to give you for spending, like the Sapphire Reserve card, 4,000, I think it's 4,000 in 3 months, and they're going to give you 150,000 points. Well, those 150,000 points transferred to Hyatt are going to give you, depending on the property, maybe a month of Hyatt stays or more.
Yeah, Hyatt changed their the limits, the amount of points per stay, which is a little bit more. Yeah, not to get into it, but at least I'm gonna say 1 or 2 weeks in a property, like I don't know, Hyatt Place, or I'm not gonna say Grand Hyatt, but yeah, you can definitely go for at least 1 week vacation, depending, of course, on the property, right? But it's a good point, and that's what we try to do. Every single thing, we're gonna pay our taxes. We're gonna pay the taxes with credit card. We are gonna go and buy coffee. We buy coffee with the credit card. So
yeah, right now we're actually trying to help my dad build up some points because they're planning a big trip next year to Australia and New Zealand. And a lot of things that they didn't realize were possible to pay on their credit card. Property taxes, you can pay on your credit card. Your hydro bills, you can pay on your credit card. And that's what Jan and I have always done. And it may actually cost you a slight service fee to do it. But when you look down the road at the chunk of points that you're going to be able to start accumulating and the value that those will bring in, it far outweighs a small service charge. So as long as you're able to pay the service charge, pay your bills in full every month, your normal spend will earn you far more points than you really ever thought you could earn.
Yeah, 100%. I love those questions. Keep them come. So terrific. There's another one. You got 3 to 5% back on most travel purchases at such a small percentage. How does this make a meaningful difference?
It's all about how you redeem them. So if you're looking at, we were just looking today at a couple of cards in Canada. And my dad was saying that he puts a lot of spend some months on his his PC financial credit card in Canada. It's like it gives you grocery points where you can redeem them for cash back at a grocery store or a pharmacy. And I said to him, I'm like, well, you may still just get 1 point per dollar by putting it on an American Express card, But the point that you get on the American Express card is a more valuable point than the one you're getting on your PC MasterCard.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you can then turn around and redeem those points for outsized value in airfare or outsized value in hotel stays, things like that. So it's all about how you redeem your point, not necessarily how much you're getting when you earn it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Did I explain that right?
Yeah, it does. And as Kristine said, it's based on how we wanted to redeem them. I'm gonna give you an example for one of the flights that we are trying to help our family. Uh, we found flights from Singapore to Australia, and the cost of this flight in business class, I have maybe five, six, or $7,000. We were able to find the same flight with points paying 70,000 points. What is 70,000 points? Thinking about one of the Chase Sapphire that you just mentioned a few minutes ago, you will be receiving 150,000 Chase points. We basically got for two of them one flight 7.5 or 8 hours on Singapore Airlines. Yes, you have to pay the taxes and fees on those flights, but due to their age and the experience that we want them to have, so this is more than enough. You're never gonna be able to find, as far as I know, flying Singapore Airlines, which is a top airline in the world, for less than $6,000 or $7,000. What you're gonna pay maybe $150 or $200 for both of them because of these points.
Yeah, and that money that you're putting on your credit card is your daily, regular, everyday spend. You're not going out and buying anything that you wouldn't otherwise spend. So for the $4,000 that you would be spending in 3 months, eating, drinking, paying bills, doing whatever, you've now accumulated enough points for 2 8-hour business class flights somewhere in the world, right? So the value of how you redeem the points is where you really see the benefit.
Yeah.
It's what I would, and that's where we say cash back doesn't have the same value. You might be getting 3 or 4% cash back on a card, but that's not going to give you the same value as a 3x or 4x multiplier on a travel card where you can turn around and redeem those points for flights or hotels.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Again, take a look at the resources page on our points and miles guide. We go into more details on all the points that we're able to accumulate, how many points we spent, and how much we actually have to pay in taxes and fees. So it's a free guide. All that you need to do is go on the website and you'll be able to do this. Gary is talking about something. When we were talking about hotels, the Marriott, they have a challenge. Yes. Hyatt also has a challenge where you can do a challenge. I believe that IHG has something similar to this, but once you are more into those points and miles, you are able to open so many opportunities. And the fact that we travel full time, we can decide where we wanted to go, what kind of property we wanted to stay. But especially, I guess the first year is the most difficult one because we don't have status. But by the time that we do have status, that's when we actually want to uh, enjoy them as much as we can and keep them for the following years, right? But yeah, thanks, Gary. So let's go through the question. It's been 1.5 hours that we've been talking. Thank you very much for staying here with us. We do appreciate it. So Q&A, some extra questions. So let me take a look and see what we've had.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you regret selling everything?
Oops. Sorry.
It wasn't an earthquake. Jean kicked the table. Absolutely not. I think that if anything, being home for the last 3 weeks has solidified the fact that we really don't need more than we have at this given point in time, and our backpacks have everything we need. And we're happy.
Yes, 100%. Second one, the $50,000 US dollars per year, which is our budget. It does include flights, healthcare, insurance, taxes. Yes, it does. As we just said a few minutes ago, we do offset the travel aspect of it, especially the flights and accommodation. when, because we do use points and miles to reduce some of the spend on those categories.
How do you handle Canadian medical, mail, phone, OTPs, credit cards? Well, that's a lot for one question. Canadian medical, we use Safety Wing, so when we're back home, we're covered for 30 days. Mail, we use a family member's address, so that's easy enough. I think we touched on that already for the US as well. Phone, we have a US phone number. It's cheaper, and we need it for WhatsApp and some banking in the States.
And everything that we do is because of the Wi-Fi calling, which one of the features that actually Tello has, and as long as you are connected to a Wi-Fi, you are able to make phone calls, receive phone calls, and of course use phone regularly. Right?
You're the next one. Dentist, vaccines, travel insurance, and health routines. I think we covered that.
Yes, wherever it's out of pocket and depending on how urgent it is or not. So we go to the hospital, but we pay ourselves, right?
Yeah. How do you avoid loneliness or lack of community?
Well, doing this,
being with all of you guys. And honestly, we have not had a busier social life than now that we're full-time travelers. There are so many people living this life. There are so many amazing people out there to get to know. And you end up meeting them as you move around. So we have a fantastic social life now. So we still keep in touch with our friends back here in Canada and in Brazil. But we're also meeting new and wonderful people as we travel.
Yes, just a really quick question. When you were in Florida in 2024 or 2025, I can't recall, maybe 2025, we ended up meeting up with Away We Go Traveling. So we were in Florida, they were living there, we hang out, and here we are still connected. Sometimes we connect over video calls and emails and WhatsApp. So that's
you stay in touch.
Yeah.
How do you handle being together 24/7? A lot of communication.
A drink. Yeah.
We're trying to do a little bit more alone time, I guess, if you want to. So that this coming weekend, Jean's going to have some time by himself. And I will have some girl time the following weekend.
Yes.
So we're just building a bit more of that into our lives. But good communication. That's the only way you can handle being together as much as we are. And if one person's upset about something, they take their time and they go and they deal with it. You come back, we discuss it, and move on.
Yes. How are points and miles so complicated? I personally don't think so. However, I do remember when I started studying years and years ago, I found quite difficult to understand what is a point, what is a mile, what kind of credit card should I get it, is it okay if I pay an annual fee or not? And those are valid questions and important questions that we have to consider. Do we find it complicated? Maybe the industry end up making it more difficult, which avoids a lot of people to get into them and learn on how to take. It's not advantage. It's basically on how to play this game.
Yeah, I think it's just there's a learning curve, right? Just like if you're a DIY investor or you're interested in finances or any new skill you're learning, there's a little bit of startup that's required and you need your base knowledge. But if it's interesting to you, if it's something that you're really wanting to get into, the information out there is endless, and it is a very lucrative income stream to pursue. So it can be a little complicated, but it's just more of a startup complication.
Yeah. We already answered this question. How to choose destinations like Jakarta, Chiang Mai, Southeast Asia.
So how do we choose our destinations, I guess? It's just, we have a bunch of places we want to see. So right now, the first few years, it's places we want to go and check out, or places others have been and said, oh, you've got to see this, right? It's just a list that we have. So
I think it's all about experiences. This is what we are trying to do, is to live those experiences that it is gonna stay with us forever, right? When we talked about the pictures in the wall, those are the experience that we wanted to bring with us everywhere there we go. It might not be in a picture, which will be amazing, but at the same time, it's in our minds and
Yeah.
all the things that we were able to accomplish in such, I'm gonna say, like short time, just
So
2 years,
far,
right? So
yeah. So there's endless destinations
yes,
still out there to explore. So
yeah, yeah. There's a question here. So my wife asked, when you return to Canada, is it still home?
yeah, I feel it's still home. I mean, Jean's got two homes. He's got Brazil and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a different answer for you. But for me, it's still home. I mean, we literally are living in the place that I have spent my entire life, with the exception of when I lived in Toronto. I grew up running around these roads, and my cousins live down the road, and my uncle is still in the area, and aunts and uncles
Mm-hmm.
aren't too far. So for me, it's still very much home. I really enjoy the Hawkins cheesies, or going to the local cheese factory to get fresh curd and things like that. So for me, Canada's still home.
Yeah,
I think Canada will always be home,
about the
or
home.
one of our homes, because
Yeah.
yeah.
But as every home, every family, nothing is perfect. It's
Yeah.
not perfect in Canada. It's not perfect in Brazil. It's not perfect anywhere. We have to live the life and take advantage of what we're able to
Yeah.
build and accomplish, and all the experience that we're able
Mhm.
to live and be alive, and time with our family. They are, I mean, outside and having a conversation. And I look at Kristine and I say, isn't it nice just being here and spending
Yeah.
this kind of time with them, right? Next month we're gonna be in Brazil, and mommy is already counting the days. Okay, is it like the day that you arrive? Those things never take for granted, because they are important, they are special, and the only way that you can do this is
Mhm.
living and putting yourself out there and spending time with them. Time is really important.
Mhm.
We are always thinking about work, but it's got to be a point in our lives that you have to change a little bit of the mentality. They have to change a little bit on how we see life and the kind of life we want to have, because life is limited. I have time here, I'm gonna be spread. Some of me is gonna be here somewhere. I mean, this video is gonna be for prosperity, right? So those things never take for granted. The problems, they won't stop happening just because you are living another life. You're gonna still have to deal with bureaucracy. You're still gonna have to deal with family issues. You still have to deal with the price of the things. It's just how life it is. But I don't know if you agree with me. I'll never change the life that we're living
Yeah.
now. Still working and having to deal with all things that you guys know that work brings. It brings us money, but it also brings us the other stuff that it's part of life.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Jan, and just to circle back to the home issue, I think it's home is wherever we are together at that point in time. Canada is a home, Brazil is a home, but
Uh-huh.
Azerbaijan could be home one time. It's
Yeah.
just where we are together, and the memories, like Jan was talking about, that we make in that
Mhm.
place. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and you'll be surprised on how warm and how grateful those places that we all have been, they are in having us. You have to take into consideration, of course, and being respectful and being aware on where we are and the things that we wanted to do. But I mean, I'm sure that we are all grown up and we know what it's right. So, but the time that we spent when people were saying, what are we going to do in Indonesia? We had such an amazing time, and we felt so home being away
Mhm.
from home with the guys there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So we feel home here,
yeah,
but we feel home everywhere.
sorry,
So
it took me like all over the world to answer your question. But yeah,
question: did you do the trip with?
let's see. No, it's gonna be next month. We're
Coming up.
gonna be. It's coming up
This is the
next
one we
month.
need to take the
Yeah,
check bag to put all our belongings in while we hike
yeah,
across the sand dunes. So it's coming
yeah.
up. We'll keep
It's
you
coming
posted.
up, right? So yeah, good memory. I like it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mel. Home is where you wanted to be buried.
Well, we want to be sprinkled everywhere, so I guess
Yes.
our home is now the world. So both of us are like, put me in this ocean a little bit
Yeah,
here, put me a little bit there. So,
I know.
we'll
But
see.
it just made me remind you, if you guys have not considered, just look at whales and power of attorneys and all of those things. We do have both of them, but this is something that it's also important. We always think about money. We made a lot of, I mean, we spend a lot of time working and doing all of those things to enjoy life now. So this is the moment that you have to go and
Yep.
use them, right? So,
On a happier note, we will keep
yes,
you
let's
posted
go.
on this trip. We will. We're looking forward to it too. Our niece is 19, and our nephew that's coming with us is 16,
Mhm.
and this is going to be his first trip away.
Yes.
Really, so it's exciting to share our love of travel with our family as well.
Yes.